Hey everybody, what's going on? It's your old pal Tom here of the Tom Gulley Show with, yes, the cold open. As I explain often, the cold open is part of the time that we spend waiting for the show to start. And you may ask me why I do this. Well, it's very simple. Our show is live streamed and then, of course, archived for later consumption in video or audio form. And so that people can get the notification that the show is on and mosey on in to our YouTube chat room, we have to spend a little time vamping, as it were. And of course, while we do that, we have to put some content on the air. Generally, we put the amazing songs of our musical director, Leon Kennedy, on. And I have some great news in that regard. 2 bits of great news. I, through extensive and inconvenient machinations, have managed to figure out a way to give you those an even a greater degree of stereo sound for your enjoyment. It will, of course, require me to do more, because I give and I give and I give and I keep giving and then I give some more for this show. That's what makes it such a beautiful gesture on my part. The second bit of good news is that Leon Kennedy sent me just a snippet of the song he's working on, while telling me about another song that's to follow about that, and I think you're going to be very pleased. So if at any point during the show the audio is amiss, you just let old Tom know, and I'll take care of it. In the meantime, before I tell you all about the Etch A Sketch, please enjoy 2 bangers from our good friend, Leon Kennedy. Side to side, didn't take a... That would be what we call in the broadcasting business a mistake. But I'll rectify it right now.
Tom Gulley on the airwaves laying down that beat. He heard a little rustle tapping soft and discreet. Turned around and saw some spiders dancing on their feet. All their legs were shiny gold and the rhythm pure heat. He thought, hold on baby, these little fellas grew kinda crazy, and the whole room lit like a disco dream. Oh, that was the night the spiders attacked. But with disco hearts, baby, nothing got whacked. Skittering, jittering, never losing the tact. Tom Gulley smiling, feeling all the impact. Oh, honey, no one got sacked on the night. Oh, the night, the night, the night the spiders attack. Christian Slater walks in with his Hollywood stride, leather jacket shimmering, grin open wide. He saw those tiny dancers moving side to side. Didn't take a minute for the man to join the ride. Every spider in the room kept the groove amplified. The lights flickered bright like a Motown stage. Silky harmonies floating like we'd turn a new page. Spiders tapping rhythm like a miniature band. Oh, that was the night the spiders attacked. But with disco hearts, baby, nothing got whacked. Skittering, jittering, never losing the tact. Groove so smooth it bordered on abstract. Oh, honey, no one got sacked. Oh, the night, the night, the night, the spiders attack. Oh, that was the night the spiders attacked. Silver legs shimmering in every move exact. Glittering, gliding, keeping all the rhythm packed. Ooh, so heavy, every heartbeat sinking stack. Oh, honey, the whole world clapped. For the night, the night, the night, the spiders attack. Snow is falling soft tonight. Windows glowing warm and bright. But Christmas doesn't feel the same till I hear that golden name. Tom Gulley on the radio, spinning tunes that steal the show. It's a very gully Christmas. Every heart begins to shine. Even spiders start to shimmer in their webs like silver lines. Yeah, very gully Christmas. Hear that rhythm, sweet and good. Bigfoot's listening from the treetops, grooving deep within the wood. Frost is dancing on the pane. Candles flicker in the lane. Spiders sway with all 8 feet, keeping to that perfect beat. And Bigfoot hums that mellow tune underneath the winter moon. It's a very gully Christmas where the joy just rolls along. Spiders tapping in the rafters, Bigfoot singing to the song. Oh yeah, very gully Christmas. Feels like magic in the air. Tom Gulley's voice is smooth as snow, and it's ringing everywhere. Come gather round the tree tonight. Let the music hold you tight. Every creature, great and small, feels that gully Christmas call. It's a very gully Christmas, and the world is feeling right. Spiders spinning festive threads, Bigfoot dancing out of sight. Yeah, very gully Christmas. Let the season sing on through. Tom Gulley brings the soul and cheer like only he can do.
Hey, everybody, what's going on? What's hot? What's hip? What's happening? What is shaking? Nice to see you on your football Sunday. Hold on, I'm finishing up a thing for Sky here, who's inexplicably obsessed with technological crap. Let me see here. Okay, there we go. Hey, let me tell you about Etch A Sketch here today. I didn't even have my ring on. This whole thing is just, it's required me to do a lot of machinations. There's machinations. It's a Sunday show. What do you want? What do you expect? The Etch A Sketch, one of the most iconic and pervasive toys that has ever existed. You may have used one, you may have not used one. It seems to span the ages, even through the video game era. And I'm going to tell you all about it. But before I do that, please like, share, subscribe, retweet, notification bell, all the free things you can do to help show out in the algorithm, the almighty algorithm, and help us with the algorithm. And by the way, we do have super chats. We do have memberships. We do have the PayPal, where you give the most, I get the most. Google don't get nothing. It's all in the description of our YouTube show. Plus, we do have the TomGulleyShow.com. The merch store is there. Everything in the merchandise store today on Cafe Press is 40% off. At least that's what they emailed me. That's what I got told. Also, if you like this in audio-only form, you can go to the TomGulleyShow.podbean.com. That's also in the description of our show. And if you're listening right now, you already know that. We put a lot of them over on the TomGulleyShow.com, and not all of them. I'm going to move those over like 20 at a time. Why go crazy? Why knock yourself out? Here, let me put an art card up real quickly while I get my ring. There we go. Just hold on a second. That's better. I don't feel right without the ring. I just don't. Let's get to our chat room very quickly before we get into today's subject. It is an interactive show. And if you're listening on audio only, then these people are speaking for you. Chris is here from Canada. Good to see Chris. Sky's here. He says H2BH, which means happy to be here. And he says he's got to grab his headphones. Sounds pretty good. Original stereo file was being mixed down. We got into some technical talk that nobody cares about. I'll explain it to you in Discord sometime. Let's see here. Sky says, to be fair, I also did start running live sound when I was 12. Well, to be fair, I've been doing this for 46 years. I have an analog microphone, which goes through a digital box into my computer. Now, most affordable broadcast mics are only one channel. Typically, that gets split into mono. Not always, but typically. And if you don't have a way to do that, then you'll only get one channel in one side of your ear, and people don't like that. So I found a way to make the music in stereo and my voice in both channels. Yes! Gene says, hey, to the best chat and the best YouTube host. Thank you, Gene. That's the nicest thing anybody said to me in quite some time. Turkatron is here. She says, hey, Tom. Hey, Turkatron. What's going on? What's shaking, man? Can you believe Balch Springs, Turkatron? Can you believe that? I kid. All right. Let's get into our topic of the day for today. And that is, of course, the Etch A Sketch. The Etch A Sketch. I think most of you know what it is. I shouldn't have to look at that. Those of you not watching the video version of the show, I just put up on screen an Etch A Sketch where someone had created, and you've seen this. There was always that kid that could really work an Etch A Sketch. And this person did an ornate reproduction of the Taj Mahal, including the water in front and the reflection. Those people, I marvel at those people. you know. Randy's here. He says it's definitely going to be interesting, Tom. I hope so, Randy. You know. Turkatron says, I can't believe the Walmart in Balch Springs, Texas. It's got to be experienced. I'm sorry. A little inside Texas humor. Imagine a post-apocalyptic world. Never mind. Sky says, great host with a great voice. Thank you, Sky. That's very nice of you. So Etch A Sketch, as you see here, is a brand of mechanical drawing toy. And in a minute or two, I'm going to show you, for those of you watching, and I'm going to describe to you, for those of you listening, this is a really pretty complex little toy here in terms of its innards, the way it works. And we'll get into that in a second. But it's manufactured originally by the Ohio Art Company. All right, the Ohio Art Company. It always used to say, as you can see, the little globe, and it says Ohio Art. It's sort of an iconic thing. And this was like the only thing. It wasn't like Hasbro or Whammo, toy companies that made lots of things that you, or Fisher-Price, knew about. This was a company that made one darn thing, and it was the Etch A Sketch. That was it. But you loved it. You loved it. Anyway, the Etch A Sketch was invented by a Frenchman, André Cassagnes of France. It's been bought, and I'll get to that later, by a company called Spin Master out of Canada. But so the Etch A Sketch, as most of us know, has a thick, flat, gray screen in a red plastic frame. And there's two little white knobs at the bottom in the lower corners. And twisting those knobs moves a stylus on the inside of the Etch A Sketch. A little stylus moves that around. And that sort of scrapes or displaces what makes the gray. It's aluminum powder on the back of the screen, and it leaves a solid black or gray line. Okay? And so those knobs create what are called linographic images, although they don't have to be lines. If you really can, with a great deal of precision, turn both of those wheels at the same time, you can get circles and stuff, and boom, shakalaka, just killed a bug. All right. There's been a gnat in this place for like 2 days, and not anymore. Anyway, the Etch A Sketch was introduced near the very peak of the baby boom. Okay? The very, very, very peak of the baby boom. July 12th, 1960. It cost $2.99, which is about $32 today. And in its first year, its very first year, it sold 600,000 units. It's one of the best-known toys ever. In 1998, it was inducted into the National Toy Hall of Fame. In 2003, the Toy Industry Association named Etch A Sketch one of the 100 most memorable toys of the 20th century. The Etch A Sketch here, my little buddy, the Etch A Sketch right there, yeah, it has sold 175 million units since it was created there. Sure it did. Of course it did. Yeah. Who would think anything else? Let's see if we've got any more comments here. Nicole Shields is here. Oh, Nicole Shields is one of my favorite people in the world. We're talking top 2 or 3. And she says, yes, I loved my Etch A Sketch. The Guido Samurai says, what up with y'all? Good to see you. Nicole, I'm sure you, as I, remember being on a long car trip or not having anything to do. And the Etch A Sketch, it would mesmerize you for hours and hours and hours because you were making something and then you shake it up and you start all over. Yeah. Nothing was worse than when you were doing stuff with an Etch A Sketch and you realized, oh no, I need to do something back over there. And you had to go back on the trail that you left in order to not mess up anything. Yeah. That was, it wasn't a great feeling. But it taught you the life lesson of planning. I still can't remember that. This just mystifies me. And I've seen people do this over the years. It's like people do similar things with Legos and whatnot. Is Taj Mahal one here? Let me get to this Taj Mahal thing again. I mean, I just can't believe the intricacy, of this photo, because it's got clouds and the reflection and the sidewalks. It's like a point. It's perfect in all ways. There's got to be a trick. There's just got to be a trick there somehow. Some sort of trick nation going on there. All right, now let's get to. I'm not going to get into I'm about to show a very complex diagram, and I'm not going to get into every detail of it. In fact, I'm going to just generally describe this because it's Sunday, and who wants a blood clot? Oh, that's the wrong thing. Daggone it. Maybe I didn't. I have to have gotten the innards of this thing. Cartridge color. I don't think I did. I think I lied. I lied to you. Well, this is the pocket Etch A Sketch. You know what? I think I did decide I didn't want to show this. Okay, I'll just describe it to you verbally. You're welcome, audio podcast people. All right, this thing has, I'm counting them now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 pulleys inside of it. And these pulleys have what are called infinite loops on them. So they've got a circle, just they're self-contained in a circle. And then there's 2 grid-like rods, one going up and down, one going back and forth. And that's what causes that stylus to be able to move anywhere on the screen in any direction in coordination with those 2 little knobs at the bottom. Okay? I could get into pulley 1 connects to pulley 2, be a short, infinite, what's called reciprocating cable. Pulley 2 connects to 3 with a double groove and a longer reciprocating cable attached to its upper course at one end with a vertical rail, and the third cable runs from 2 to 3 to 4. 4 and 5 are single groove. I mean, it's very intricate. You wouldn't think so. It's a simple toy. But the toy is kind of a plotter, something that plots things, like on a map or whatever. The inside surface of the glass, as I mentioned, is coated with aluminum powder, which is scraped off by the stylus, leaving a dark line and kind of dark black, gray. Yeah. If you turn both knobs simultaneously at the same rate, it will make a diagonal line. And if you want to erase the picture, turn it upside down, you shake it. Now, doing this causes what are called polystyrene beads to smooth out and recoat the inside surface of the screen with aluminum powder. So these beads are coated in aluminum powder, but they're so tiny they can get inside the grooves of what you previously have scraped off. The aluminum sticks to the screen due to electrostatic charges, and that black line merely exposes the darkness inside the toy. It's not making anything. It's just exposing the lack of light inside the toy. Scraping out large black areas allows enough light to expose parts of the interior. If you hold it up to a light and look really hard, you can see that. You can see that. You will see it. I swear to you. It's there. Yeah. Yeah. Now, the whole thing, by the way, that's the pocket Etch A Sketch that I was showing you. I'm going to show it to you again. I should mention that original Etch A Sketch was sold for $2.99, which is $34 in today's money. But a regular Etch A Sketch, the regular sized Etch A Sketch, is around $20 today. So it's actually less expensive than it was back in 1960 when it was invented. This one here, the pocket Etch A Sketch, which I think is just great for young kids. And it also shows the things that I was talking about. This one here is built to show those beads, the aluminum powder, the 2 rails, and a little bit of using it at the top. Okay? So you can see that. But the pocket Etch A Sketch, if you have a very young child, and Nicole Shields would know better than I would think a very young child of even 2 or 3, the pocket size one, which is really small, it sells for $8, which is like super affordable, and who cares if they break it? Because they're going to break. No, I actually have never seen a broken Etch A Sketch. That's another thing about this toy, is it was relatively indestructible. It was an indestructible toy. Nicole, she says, hey, thanks, you're one of my favorite people too. Please. I just assume everyone I meet that I'm going to be. No, I'm kidding. Randy says, I was never good at it. I wouldn't say I was good at it. I could make words in a cool font and things I could do. I could never do that Taj Mahal. Never. Now, I had a brother who could do pictures and stuff. I couldn't do that. But it was still fun. I still had a blast with it. You know what I did with it a lot? And please let me know in the chat and through your cards and letters at home. I used to take it and I used to make a line around the full outside of it. And then just before I got to complete the square, had to be like 1/8 of an inch, I would stop and make a parallel line, and then the same thing at the top, and I would make kind of a constantly getting smaller square. Yeah. Obviously, I'm obsessive compulsive, but that's what I would do, Nicole says, yes, the small ones would be great. I had a student do a detailed picture for a book report once. It was insane. Yes. But I did that thing where it just constantly got smaller and smaller and smaller. I'd do that for a long time. There was something satisfying about it. I don't know what it was, but it was inherently satisfying. As I mentioned, the Etch A Sketch toy was invented by a man from France in the late 1950s, André Cassagnes, an electrician with l'Incrusta company, who named the toy l'écran magique, the magic screen. In 1959, he took his drawing toy to the International Toy Fair in Nuremberg, Germany, where he thought the Germans would appreciate such a toy. The Ohio Art Company saw it, and guess what? They had no interest at all. None. But when they saw this toy a second time, they had a change of heart, and they decided to take a chance on the Etch A Sketch. Okay? They gave it a second chance. Because the people at the Ohio Art Toy Company, they believe in second chances. By the way, I'm a mess today. It's Sunday. I haven't done anything. Haven't gotten pretty for the show. Because sometimes a boy likes to feel pretty. Anyway. L'écran magique was soon renamed Etch A Sketch and became the most popular drawing toy in the business. After a very complex series of negotiations, the Ohio Art Company launched the toy in the United States just in time for the 1960 Christmas season with the name Etch A Sketch. And by the way, Ohio Art supported the toy with a televised advertising campaign. And for those of you who are youngins out there, at that time, you could move tremendous amounts of merchandise with television advertising. Think about it. No computer, no streaming, 3 channels. If you did a TV campaign, probably you were going to sell stuff. So, there you go. As far as it affects our lives today, you may say, oh, Etch A Sketch has no place in our modern world. Kids have video games and stuff. And you might be right to a certain extent. However, over the years, as flashier video games and stuff became more popular, Etch A Sketch sort of started to die out a little bit. I would argue that for especially smaller children, the Etch A Sketch is a great thing. But it did begin to wane in sales significantly. However, the Etch A Sketch was featured in the 1995 Disney Pixar animated film Toy Story in a scene where a sentient toy performs a quick draw duel with Sheriff Woody. That 12 seconds of that movie was enough to give Etch A Sketch a significant sales boost, requiring the production line to work overtime to meet the demand. Because it reawakened people. It said, oh yeah, the Etch A Sketch. By 1999, 4 years later, the company again was sort of on hard times. That initial wave of, rebirth had waned, and they were in trouble. The company was actually trying to decide whether they should even stay open, but the company recovered again with the very smart decision to agree to have an Etch A Sketch appear in Toy Story 2 in 1999. And that scene featured an Etch A Sketch being used to present sketches related to the investigation of Sheriff Woody's kidnapping by Al McGuigan. Remember? The toy collector and owner of Al's Toy Barn. That scene was 45 seconds long. The exposure from the highly successful movie resulted in sales of the toys increasing by 20%, and Ohio Art survives. Etch A Sketch was manufactured in Bryan, Ohio, until the company moved the manufacturing plant to Shenzhen, China. In France, the country of origin of the Etch A Sketch, it was sold under the name of Telecran rather than Écran Magique. In February of 2016, the rights to Etch A Sketch name and design were acquired by Toronto-based Spin Master Corporation. Now, Etch A Sketch is not just sat idly by, knowing that electronic toys are all the rage. They didn't sit on their hands with that. They got in the game, if you will, and they did so with a number of little products. The first one was the Etch A Sketch Animator, known as the Animator in Canada and simply the in Europe. No, I'm kidding. It was just known as Animator in Europe. It debuted in 1986. As early as 1986, they were into the electronics. Featured a 40 by 30 dot matrix display and 2 knobs used for drawing, like the usual Etch A Sketch, with several buttons to animate and manipulate the drawings. The initial price was $90, which is about $260 in today's money. It had 2 kilobytes of memory. It was capable of storing 12 frames of pictures in any combination up to 96 times. It contained a speaker, which made static-like sounds when the knobs were moved and during the animation. So, This one says on or move, the buttons that is, animate, save, draw, next, reverse, recall, and erase. So it was really a little frame animator more than anything else, and it just happened to use the technology of Etch A Sketch to make the images, which I think is pretty darn cool. Now, this wasn't the end of Etch A Sketch's getting into this electronic animated world. Nay, Jose. You know? What do we got in the chat room here? Oh, Gene1313 says, my hippie aunt told my mom it had lead in it, so my mom put it in the trash. It was aluminum powder. Your hippie aunt lied. You can tell your hippie aunt from me, you lie. No, I'm sure she meant well. It's just that she deprived you of the joy of the Etch A Sketch. Now, here's the next thing they did. This is the Animator 2000, okay? So when all these home video games start booming, and they actually had really good success with the Etch A Sketch Animator, Rented Lips. Ohio Art decided to release a high-tech sequel known as the Animator 2000, and they released that system a year later at a suggested retail price of $139.99, about $390 in today's money, and it was kind of pricey. The unit does not resemble a traditional Etch A Sketch. Okay? The knobs are not there anymore. They're replaced with a touchpad. And the system's basic shape resembles a laptop computer. Has a 60 by 40 LCD screen. The unit contains 196 kilobytes of powerful computer memory, which is significantly more than the 2 that you got with the original Animator. This extra memory allowed the system to have 22 frames in which to store the drawings, and these frames could be animated in a sequence up to 99 times. The memory upgrade also was combined with a relatively powerful custom processor, you know, because it was supposed to be a portable entertainment game system instead of simply an electronic drawing toy. It had a cartridge slot, and 4 cartridges were available. Flyby, which was a flight simulator game, Overdrive, a road racing game, and Putt Nuts, a miniature golf game, and Memory, which was an expanded memory card. The price for one cartridge was $30. So this is what the rich kids had. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? But it looks like a pretty cool thing. It looks pretty powerful. But because of the fact that it was custom, it was proprietary, unless you were really into these games or really into the methodology by which you could animate things, and I would say if you were a young person that was wanting to be a cartoonist or something, this animation feature was probably through the roof compared to anything that was out there at the time in the mid-'80s. It wasn't likely to boom, you know. It wasn't a game system that had 1 million games available, and frankly, it really wasn't designed for any other games but the ones that were created for it in terms of being a gaming system. It was this kind of training wheels, if you will. Make sense? I hope it does. It's Sunday. I'm doing my best. Oh, by the way, coming up this week on the Tom Gulley Show, tomorrow night we will have a show on the history of movie ratings, which I think will stun and amaze you. There's quite a history behind movie ratings, and you won't believe the ratings system when it first came out. It's nothing, it looks nothing like what they have today. On Tuesday, we will cover one of my favorite artists of all time, that's Mr. Tom Waits, and a great actor as well on Tuesday. Wednesday, look, I don't care if you're a huge Star Trek fan. I don't care if you're a casual Star Trek fan. I don't care if you just watch it when it's on and it's okay. They never finished that 5-year mission to seek out new life and new civilizations and to boldly go where no person has gone before. Well, guess what? Some amazing people got together and did an incredible thing. They finished that 5-year mission with a 13-episode web series. You can see it on YouTube right now if you want to. Of course, after this show is over. It's called Star Trek Continues. Okay? A guy by the name of Vic Mignogna, just a genius, got a bunch of other geniuses together. It looks exactly like the original series. It feels like the original series. Its scripts are fabulously incredible, like the original series. And after about 5 minutes of watching it, you will think you are watching the original series. We'll cover Star Trek Continues on Wednesday. And then on Thursday, we will cover the disappearance of Jimmy Hoffa. As we continue, Etch A Sketch in 1993 launched color Etch A Sketch. It's similar to the original Etch A Sketch, used the 2 knobs again, but it featured 6 markers, colored markers. And these markers replaced the standard magnetic tip. And the markers drew on an inserted piece of paper, creating a color picture. Because remember, the Etch A Sketch is just a plotting system. The plotter in the first Etch A Sketches scraped off that aluminum powder. Well, if you turn the stylus the other way and you put marker tips on the stylus, you can draw on a piece of paper with the plotter. That's what the color Etch A Sketch was. I'm going to tell you about the next thing they did here in a second, and it's out there, man. It's out there. Please do me a favor, like, share, subscribe, retweet, notification bell, all the free things you can do to support the show that don't cost you 1 penny. They just cost a click. They help us with the algorithm. We have super chats. We have memberships. We also have the PayPal. It's there in our YouTube description. You give the most. I get the most. Google don't get nothing. And people love to do that. And if Nicole Shields is here, I will use a famous quote, and I will say, some people give 5, some people give 50. We also have the TomGulleyShow.com. Our merchandise store is there. 40% off today and today only. Well, maybe not today only, but it's 40% off in the Cafe Press store. That's what they told me in an email today. Make sure and double check that on checkout if you want any of the top quality name brand merchandise we have there. Yeah. So there you go. Big plug. Do us a favor. Help us out a little bit. Because this show, from its inception, was guaranteed to get no views anyway. All right, let's move forward. This is the thing I had to show you. This is called the Etch A Sketch ETO, plug-and-play drawing system, also known as Etch A Sketch Wired. And these are handheld controllers that connect to a television-like handheld TV game, and they work like the regular Etch A Sketch, except on the television screen, and with the addition of colors and sound effects. So there's, again, trying to bridge the wall between the old school Etch A Sketch and more modern, fun, to a lot of kids, video games. This obviously looks like a video game controller. You hook it up to a TV and you can draw on the television, right in front of your face. Interestingly enough, there are a few out in the world. There are actually practicing artists who use the Etch A Sketch to produce professional level linographic work. They make their work permanent by removing the aluminum powder. So they drill holes in the bottom or remove the back. And then once they're done, okay, so it's gray. It's got the aluminum powder in it. They dump out the excess. They do their art, and then they seal it back up. Because without that extra aluminum powder, what's on that screen is now permanent. That's how they do it. What do you think about that? Huh? Bet you didn't know they did that. Huh? Yeah, there you go. I have to assume this is one of those. I would not create that just to have my little brother come along and shake it up. It's a real jerk. $600,000 units sold its first year. 175 million of all time. It is, to this day, I believe, a very affordable and good entry for especially young children into the world of imaginative toys that allow you to create. It exists to this day. As I mentioned, you can find an Etch A Sketch for around $20 on most online outlets, and the Etch A Sketch pocket version, which is smaller, is about $8. So there you go. Let's see here. Randy says, I'll be here tomorrow. We'll be rating those, covering the history of movie ratings. You're not going to believe it. What is going on with this keyboard? Oh, that's not good. Let's see if I can fix it. Hold on a second, kids. We've had an emergency here. Oh, that's really bad. I don't know how I'm gonna. One of these got a spring in it or something. Oh, that's so bad. Coach Mike Rodick says I'm late. I banged my hand down on this thing, and one of the little prop-up deals popped out. And I am attempting a speedy repair. By God, I did fix it. And as I did, I typed into the chat room. There you are. That's for all of your enjoyment. Good gravy. This whole show, the wheels are coming off the wagon. The wheels are coming off the wagon around here. Nicole Shields says, I was actually thinking about that quote since this is the time of year it was said. Well, Nicole, here's the deal about when you said that. There's two things. Number one, it's very true. Number two, if you recall, I almost fell to the ground laughing because it was so funny. It's still funny. You have one of these gift giveaways that everything's supposed to be $5 or something, and some people get $5, some people get $50. The favorites. Coach Mike Rodick says, sorry I'm late. Hello, chat. Hey, Tom. Mike, you're never late. We've covered this. Nobody's ever late to this show. Sky says, is everything okay, Tom? Well, it is now. I did what we call effected a speedy repair. I like to point out that I'm wondering if I should just go ahead and do this real quick. I kind of don't want to. Never mind, I'm not going to do it. I received a small clip from Leon Kennedy of a new song he's created for the show just today. It's like a 20-second clip. It's so good. It's not even funny. But I don't want to spoil the unveiling, so I'm not going to do that. I talked myself down. But he does have a new one coming out, and then he has, because all these songs have pretty much been Motown, R&B, soul. I think he's going to start going off into some different directions. And there was a worry expressed that some people might not like that. And I told him, I really don't care what people think. If you like it, I'm playing it. And I don't think it's a bad thing. I mean, come on. What this show does, everything from famous movie stars to nail clippers as a topic. I mean, there's no, why shouldn't the music be, Randy says, don't worry, Pa can fix with, don't worry, Paul can fix the wheel. Paul can fix the wagon wheel. Nicole says, yes, I remember you were laughing so hard. I always got the 5 or less. I didn't have the right last name. Well, let me tell you a little story. I had never, you guys, anybody ever do the gift exchange thing where people can bid or do, I forget what you actually do, but so you take all the gifts and you put them in a pile, I think. And they're all supposed to be around the same amount. I don't remember what it was. If it was $10, $20, I don't remember what it was. And I was told that they were to all be gag gifts. So I don't remember. I could go get it because I now have the gift that I gave. And I'll tell you why. And you guys will have to tell me if you've done the thing where everybody gets their gift and then you can steal it. You can steal a gift from somebody, right? And you have 1 or 2 steals in you. So all these gifts starting to get it open, and I'm beginning to see a lot of these are not gag gifts. These are legitimate gifts. And I got a DVD that was called, it was a medical DVD called The Key to Healthy Feet or something. It was the dumbest thing I could find. And I thought, man, this is a gag gift thing. I am going to be the coolest guy in the room because I've got the gaggiest gag gift of them all. I got a guide to healthy feet with this nerdy doctor on the front and his doctor's. I thought, home run. And somebody. No. I watched everybody go around and get their gifts, and some of them was like a spice rack. There was nice stuff in there. I think there was 1 or 2 that was kind of funny, but it was still a pretty good gift. When it came around to my turn, I just went and got the gift that I had given and opened it up and kept it. I was like, I don't want to be responsible for anybody's, So yeah, it's that time of year. Nicole says she used to call it white elephant gifts. Yes, gag gifts. I didn't see that many gag gifts there. I saw some, actually, a lot of that stuff was nice stuff. And there was some real, I want that spider rat. Oh, incidentally, did I mention there were, I can even count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There was probably a dozen women in the room, and I'm the only guy. Oh, wait. The big cheese came. He was there, but he was not participating. I was the only one actually participating. Only dude in the room. Yeah. But times I remember well and fondly. I may only hope that all of those people remember my time there fondly. Let me rephrase that. I may only hope that a few of those people, many of them, I really don't care if they remember it fondly or not. Nicole says, yes, they were nice, but they weren't supposed to be funny. Oh, God. I remember just being mortified going, I thought this was gag gifts. Because the previous year, Oh, and the Big Cheese got one of the $50 gifts. Yeah, naturally. I remember that the previous year I worked at an ad agency and they made it clear it was gag gifts. And I was the hit of the gag gift thing because I got a DVD of a movie called Surf Nazis Must Die. And who could outdo that? Nobody. And I thought, the history of feet, I'm going to 2 years in a row DVD it up. And, well, of course, here was the other thing about that was, oh, yeah. So at the end of the year, there's this big presentation and parents, forget what kind of thing it is, but there's a big, giant gathering. And I'm just there. Actually, my job at the gathering was to do all the audio and the video and for the gathering, right? And I did that. Some would say brilliantly. And then they start giving out these recognitions to certain people. And I'm thinking, I'm not going to get one of those. I'm the only dude working at this place. And all of a sudden, I get called. They went, and another person who has not missed a single day. Look, whatever you guys think of me. Oh, and I'm going to get to another subject that just burns my bacon here in a second. Has not missed a single day, Tom Gulley. And I went up there, and as you guys know, I love soccer, and I was given a soccer ball, which generally speaking would be a great gift for me. However, this place was located next to a Family Dollar. And I went into the Family Dollar and saw that soccer ball was selling for $3. I'm like, you didn't even leave the block, and you got me a $3 soccer ball. It makes all those uninterrupted days of attendance. It's really paying off. Here's another thing. Whatever thou may think of me, and yes, it is true, I've had a long and successful career in broadcasting. And I think I've mentioned this on my show before. And if not, this is something that anybody with just even a germ of a brain, and I'm mentioning this because someone without the germ of a brain went online and suggested that I was never successful in broadcasting. I bounced from town to town to town and and all this other stuff. That was never my number one job. Ever. I just happened to, according to the people running the stations and or networks, be really good at it. I had a regular gig the whole time, which was the reason for going from big ad agency to big ad agency. When you work for the holding company of the big ad agency, they send you from place to place to place. Hey, we need to repair this account. Stay here for a couple of years and do that. Boom, done. On to the next town. But I've lived in the same town for 25 years, minus the 3 years I was off in the hinterlands of Utah. And the point I was getting to, I don't miss days of work. I have never once since I was 16 years old and began doing overnights at a radio station, I've never missed a shift. I've never been, one time. I was 3 minutes late for a shift. Once that whole time. But I've never missed a shift. I've never turned down a shift. People have called me an hour before we're supposed to go on and said, hey, there's an emergency. Can you cover? Yes. But to think that yes, sometimes I had 2 full-time jobs. When I was on the air in Bloomington, Indiana, my job was in Indianapolis. I drove the 40 or 60, whatever miles to Bloomington and did afternoon drive and then drove home. But it was just rather hilarious to me that this guy's going on and on about he's never made more than this and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, first of all, you don't know how much I've made in the broadcasting industry, much more than you're saying. But that's way, way, way less than you make as a creative director at a large advertising agency. Let me tell you something, champ. Oh, God, I hate these Dabbleverse people. I don't hate them. It's not strong enough a word. I just have contempt. Let's put it that way. There are, and I've said this many, many, many times. There are so many extremely obvious and apparent things to make fun of me of. Can't you just stick to that festooning wagon load of those? No, apparently not. Apparently not. Just stick to that, would you? You don't have to make things up. It just shows your lack of... And it also, there are things that it's like, I could just say, well, just go to this independent third-party website and look at that and see what it says. Anyway. But yes, Nicole Shields said something so funny on more than one occasion, but certainly that occasion, that I laughed. It's not that easy to make me laugh so hard that I can't stand up. I have to, and she did it. She did it. Shannon Litzinger says, "Why are you so grumpy?" I don't feel I'm grumpy, but she says, "You've accomplished a lot in your life." Says, "Who cares about the average man? I never even made fun of you." I don't know who you are, Shannon, so wasn't referring to you. It might not always be about you. If you thought if I was referring to you, I wasn't. I was referring to another thing. Maybe before you came in. I don't know. I don't know what your scene is, man. I don't. And so anyone doing, I don't even know. Maybe Nicole knows. What's this? She called it the white elephant. I've had white elephant gifts before. It was like a white elephant in the sense that everybody got a blind gift. It was not like a white elephant in that I was told the gift was to be a gag gift. And I think there were a couple of funny gifts, but they were funny to the women in the room. They were not funny to me. There was secret gal stuff that I was not necessarily unaware of, but not as aware of. I don't know if Nicole remembers it that way. So anyway, Shannon Litzinger says, "That's your enemy." I don't know, Shannon, at this point what you're talking about. So Randy says, say good afternoon, Gracie. Oh, good afternoon, Gracie. And Gracie, are you going to work? Chef, are you going to work at the place, or are you just doing other stuff? Because I think the ball game starts here in about a half an hour, if you're into that sort of thing. I mistakenly told my dad that the game was on Monday night, and I had to call him back yesterday and go, "I made a mistake. It's Sunday afternoon." You do not, in the world of guys, want to tell somebody the wrong time and then they miss the game. That's unforgivable. By the way, Arsenal 2, Wolverhampton Wanderers 1. Can you dig it? Shannon, it's nice to have you here. Maybe you've been here before. I don't recall. But I'm not being critical. I'm just saying I'm confused. Oh, getting ready for the ball game. Randy is. Boy, wouldn't you love to be at the chef's house for the tailgate? Ooh, mama. Shannon, he's a real chef, ladies and gentlemen. He works at a fancy-dancy sky-rise restaurant. It's $150 for the tomahawk steak. Shannon says, the Lauren Spirer video was good. Do more content on missing people, my dude. Well, Shannon, I appreciate that. I love doing the unsolved, the missing. And for your edification, we have not only on video on YouTube, but on audio only on the Podbean site, the TomGulleyShow.podbean.com. We have the Burger Chef Moitas, which have never been solved, from Indianapolis, Indiana. We have the Springfield Three women who disappeared without a trace, from Springfield, Missouri. We did the Fort Worth Trio, 3 women who disappeared. And all of these, the common denominator are these cryptic clues and facts that don't seem to make any sense. They're not connected to anything. They can't. And then we did Lauren Spirer. We also did the Yuba County 5. So if you look on the site, every Thursday is when we do these. And this Thursday, we will be doing the disappearance of legendary Teamsters Union leader Jimmy Hoffa, who disappeared without a trace. And his disappearance and life have been the subject of movies, documentaries, wild accusations that he's buried in the parking structure at Giant Stadium. Just we'll get into that on Thursday. So let's see here. Randy says, town, before I go, I have a friend from Ecuador that's really into soccer. Do you know much about the Ecuador soccer team? Well, no, not specifically. Let me see here. Come on. I know that they've gotten better lately. They are in a tough group, which is to get out of South America, where you have Argentina, you have Brazil, you have Uruguay, you have Colombia, and Ecuador was the number 2 team out of that group this past year. And I know that I think we played them recently. They have a tremendous defensive record currently. So, Ecuador doing better than they had. It was, when you play this number 2 team in the South American region, as the United States did this year on October 10th, and you draw them 1-1. And by the way, Ecuador hadn't been scored on for like over a year. They've got a very good defensive team. So that's what I know. Let's see here. Let's see. It's Citizen M. Oh, well, you're going bye-bye. Why did you come in here with a fake name? You're clearly aware that I don't appreciate your participation. And you get awful chirpy elsewhere. You are a duplicitous person who has only a casual association with facts. I could go on at length, but I'll just suffice it to say, I prefer you weren't here, and it's my show. And you know this, but you persist. So don't go away mad. Just go away. Just go away. Just go away. Okay. Just do that for me. Here's a lovely parting gift. Copy of our home version of the show. Just do that. Do that for me. Shannon. Randy says, oh, I did that one. I think the person in charge just wanted to impress the big cheese or make others think she was their friend. I don't know, man. I don't know. The sunny slopes of long ago. I don't know. Maybe I'll move back to that lovely Hamlet. I'm not joking. I might just. I don't know what I'll do there. I don't think I'll be doing that thing again. I don't think I'm very popular with some of the powers that be. But why worry about it? Anyway, we're into the holiday season, as most of you know. And we will be doing those shows I mentioned. I'll just run down them again one more time. Monday, where's my piece of paper? Oh, here it is. Monday, the history of movie ratings. You won't believe it. I will not only tell you how that evolved to where it's at now, but I will tell you certain very controversial movies. Now, I'm talking about like the current ratings, where you've got a red band movie for adults only, and you've got, for R usually, and you've got G, PG, PG-13, or maybe there's just PG-13 now, R, and NC-17. I am not talking about the Hays Office, which was a form kind of governmental movie rating that, but I will do that at some point in time. The Hays Office was a completely different thing. The Hays Office was actually an office that would say whether movies were even allowed to be on the air by their content. But I'm talking about the Motion Picture Association ratings. That's what I'm talking about. And the history is long, and it is ornate with examples of movies. And let me just tell you one little fun fact that might whet your appetite for this show. The original movie ratings that came out had an X rating. Yeah, the worst was X. Now, that was not for dirty movies. It was for movies thought to be too violent or suggestive. And one of the movies that got that rating was A Clockwork Orange, the masterpiece. So there's a lot of movies. I could tell you stories, a lot of movies that have been altered to, you don't want an R rating necessarily if you want to make money. If you want to make money, you got to be in PG-13. Movies have been changed. It's a lot of stuff. And the ratings themselves have changed. We'll get into all of that. Tuesday, Tom Waits, the legendary singer, his album Nighthawks at the Diner is being released again on its 50th anniversary. It, in my estimation, if I was on a desert island and I had to take 5 records with me, that would be one of them. If I had to take 2 records with me, that would be one of them. Probably if I had to take 1 album with me, that would be one of them. Nighthawks at the Diner by Tom Waits. Freaking amazing. I'll cover that on Tuesday. Wednesday, Star Trek continues. I've already talked about it enough. The 5-year mission never got completed. Okay. Vic Mignogna and a bunch of people got together and redid Star Trek in impeccable fashion. It's on YouTube. You can go watch those 13 episodes right now. Star Trek continues. You will feel like you are watching the original series, and it's not like an imitation. It's the real thing. It's not they're not copying. They're extending what Star Trek really did in the beginning, and the set looks exactly the same. The scripts are amazing. So we'll cover that on Thursday, The Disappearance of Jimmy Hoffa. Yeah. Randy says, no, he's gone. Terry Nee says, Hayes, you're on my foot. Hayes. The Hayes Office, one of the things was if a man and a woman were on a bed at the same time, I believe it might have been one of there, but I think it's the man's foot had to be on the floor. So it's also a common rule in a lot of Midwestern towns during the 70s and 80s. Anyway, that's what we got. that's our presentation for today about the Etch A Sketch. I should also let you know there has been an agreement in principle that my good friend and legendary performer, Mr. Bob Levy, the Reverend Bob Levy, has agreed in principle to appear on this program as we will once again go over It's a Wonderful Life. Only this time, we're going to do it a little differently than last time. A little bit differently. I'm hoping his wife Gina will have time to join us, if indeed she's in town where he's at. It's not a criticism. It's just it's none of my business. That's their thing. None of my beeswax. Anyway, that's coming up very soon. We have some other things coming up. One of them, we're going to do the Hayes office, obviously. We're going to do the Duesenberg automobile. We're going to do something, Terry Nee, I would like to let you know about. I think I mentioned it to you the other day. Generation Jones. It's called Generation Jones. It is a micro generation or subgroup of boomers, typically defined as those born from 1954 to 1965, bridging the gap between real boomers, frankly, and Gen X, because they don't fit into either category. Because we experienced the optimism of the 60s, but came of age during economic struggles, stagflation, job scarcity, cultural shifts like Watergate, oil crises, leaving them to be pragmatic, resilient, and jonesing the prosperity their older peers enjoyed, but having the toughness that came with that. Grew up with TV, saw Vietnam on television, Watergate, civil rights. But we weren't drafted like the older ones were. We had the economic crisis, high debt, inflation, okay? Pragmatic, resilient, competitive. We don't fully identify as either Gen X or boomers. So there you go. That's what we are, Terry. Somebody finally figured it out. We're going to cover that. Nicole Shields says, great show. It was great to learn about the Etch A Sketch. Enjoy the rest of your day, everyone. Nicole Shields, you are a rare and undiscovered jewel, and thank you for spending a little of your time on Sunday, because I know you're surrounded by people that are dying to watch football and probably wanting you to make a lot of food for them. Terry Nee says, yuppie. Judy Tester says, based draft dodging Tom. There was no draft. It was a selective service. Yeah, Nicole, you're the goods. You're the goods, as we say. And knows her way around a Halloween costume. Okay, let's see here. What else we got? Anything? Anybody got anything in the chat room? Anybody? By the way, if you guys want to get a hold of me, those of you listening to the audio podcast, just write to Tom at thetomgulley.com. Most, if not all, of our information is on our YouTube, which is youtube.com/@TomGulleyShow. Or search for it. Terry says, we weren't Vietnam thing age. Yeah, I mean, it's like we probably had uncles and stuff, or, young, some of us probably had older siblings that might have been part of that. But the bigger thing for us was that we, as children, watched on TV. And by the way, back then, television news, when it showed the Vietnam War, you saw people getting, on television, on the news. We also saw the Watergate hearings. We also saw a few assassinations. You know, we grew up with the MLK, Malcolm X, RFK, George Wallace. And they showed that stuff on TV. I remember seeing George Wallace's assassination like 15 times. They showed it over and over again. So, yeah, we went through all of that. So that I think it's appropriate, that age group, because the boomer age group goes back so far. I don't have anything in common. That encompasses my parents. You know, it doesn't make any sense. I thought that's what those things were to. And so Terry says Apollo. Yeah, we saw space missions. They drag a black and white TV into your classroom, and you would watch the Apollo missions and the footage from them. And you guys may have seen the movie Apollo 13. We, in my, let's see, when was Apollo 13? I'll tell you what class it was. Let's see, 1, 3. You guys know what happened? Apollo 13, they didn't know if they'd be able to make it back because it had a major problem when it was in the sky. Yeah. An oxygen tank in the service module exploded, disabling its electric and life support systems. The crew, supported by backup systems on the Apollo lunar module, instead looped around the moon in a circumlunar trajectory and returned safely to Earth. But that took 6 days. And we didn't know if they had enough oxygen. There was a period of time when the module could not communicate with Earth. So they slingshotted around, and nobody knew. Nobody knew if they'd be able to get back. By the way, we are now going to cover Apollo 13, which is a little silly since there's been a movie and stuff, but I think I can do it in a way that's signature me. But that was in, when was that again? It was like my first grade classroom. Yeah, my first grade class. They brought the TV in. Every day we watched it. Every single day. Yeah, the Iran hostages. Yes, the Iran hostages. That was another thing we had to deal with. What do we got here? What's this thing telling me? Oh, it says you guys are experiencing buffering. Because I went and opened something else out. The Berlin Wall falling. This guy says they must have gotten too close to the moon base. I don't know. I don't remember what it was. They know what it was. I don't remember. The Bay City Rollers. Oh, God. Yeah, we had to go through the Bay City Rollers. But we also were the first generation that telephones became cordless. ATM machines. Cash machines, they didn't have those when I was young, but they got them when I was in, what do you think, Terry? Probably high school or so. They finally got those. Actual home computers, by the way. Yeah, we got those too. Home video. You couldn't watch anything at all at your house. Nothing. You had to go to a movie theater to see a movie, or hope one was on TV. We were the first generation with cable television on a large-scale basis. There's a lot of things. We were the transition people. That's what we did. Yeah. So anyway, all that being said, tomorrow night at 7 Eastern, we will get into the movie rating system. Anybody got anything else? SATURDAY, night. SATURDAY, night. Jaws. There. How about that? Star Wars. Yeah, hello, Star Wars. A movie called Star Wars. You might be familiar with it. Anyway, are you guys buffering right now? Are you buffering? Is there buffering going on? I hope not. Jack Ruby. Yeah, we had all of that. Doesn't look to me like you're buffering. I hope you're not buffering. For the love of God, man. I hope you're not buffering. All right. Sky says, I sense no buffering, Captain. It's very Spockian. All right. I guess we will do everyone a favor here since I have managed to unlock. And I really want your comments in the chat room. I have unlocked the secret of stereo sound for my music on this program. And believe me, we're all waiting here at the Tom Gulley Show on bated breath, but we're being patient for the next banger from Leon Kennedy, our musical director. You guys are going to love this one. I've heard 20 seconds of it, and I'm already in love with it. So we got to have stereo for that. Must have stereo. So I made that possible. So tell me if this sounds better than the previous ways we've been playing it. I want the opinion of you, the home viewer, as always. And with all that being said, I'm looking at that old clock on the wall, and it says the Colts are playing in 15 minutes. Arsenal 2, Wolverhampton Wanderers 1. Thank you very much. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. So with all that being said, I think the only thing left to say is, till next time, and please enjoy our new holiday song. And we will be playing the living heck out of it until Christmas. Till next time, we'll see you next time.
Snow is falling soft tonight. Windows glowing warm and bright. But Christmas doesn't feel the same till I hear that golden name. Tom Gulley on the radio, spinning tunes that steal the show. It's a very gully Christmas. Every heart begins to shine. Even spiders start to shiver in their webs like silver lines. Yeah, very gully Christmas. Hear that rhythm, sweet and good. Sweet and good. Bigfoot's listening from the treetops, grooving deep within the wood. Frost is dancing on the pane, candles flicker in the lane, spiders sway with all 8 feet, keeping to that perfect beat, and Bigfoot hums that mellow tune underneath the winter moon. It's a very gully Christmas where the joy just rolls along. Spiders tapping in the rafters, Bigfoot singing to the song. Oh yeah, very gully Christmas feels like magic